Good morning. This will be my first full day in Vancouver, Canada. So I've just got a bus from where I stay. The bus stop's right outside into the city centre. I'm on my way to Stanley Park, which I've always wanted to see. I'm sort of at the waterfront park now, but there's loads of little parks here, great for cycling. And the city centre looks impressive. Well, I don't know if I'm in the centre or not. I'm at Canada Place, the Port of Vancouver. The World Trade Centre. Oh, so this is where the cruise ships go from. This whole area is called the waterfront area. It goes from downtown to Stanley Park. If you just walk here, it's about, there's an information centre, well, a guy giving information. This is about 10 minutes.
You'll think we've had for sure.
Oh, it's called the Great Canadian Trolley. So they recreated something that was around years ago, I imagine. And this is the hop on, hop off bus. This is the sort of the tourist centre for here. Loads of shops down there. Free shuttle. Oh, that looks good. This is Capilano. How do you say that? Capilano. Capilano.
Exactly.
It sounds Italiano. There's a suspension bridge park. Oh yeah, I've heard about this. I might try it. Okay, I'm going to carry on walking, and next time I see you is in Stanley Park. So this walk leads to Stanley Park, but there's all sorts of interesting signs along the way about the history of this place. You can see Stanley Park over there, and this is the waterfront. Looks very nice. I'm sure it's really nice at night when it comes alive. There's lots of shops, lots of places to eat. Could take you ages if you stopped at each one. Each one's got a different story. And so here's the container ships offloading or loading. And it's the other side. I think it's called Vancouver North. So you could live it. I'm sure there's regular ferries. So I found out from there. Oh, I was online when I found out that there's a free shuttle from there to this park. This park with all the walkways and suspended bridges. That looks quite a nice thing. I'll decide later on what I want to do tomorrow, because we really only got 2 full days here. So the cycle path is in the middle here, and the walk is either side of it. Let's go on the water side. No cycles. Oh, this is a seaplane. That's where the seaplanes That's interesting. Rosie the Riveter. There's great stories. It's great to go through all these things. If I had the time, go through all these stories of the past. So this path follows the river, and you get here eventually. Now, I think I'm a bit underdressed. It's not freezing cold, but it's probably about 14 or 15 degrees. I've got my umbrella. That's the most important thing. And it was great just getting that one bus. Might be more or less for here. So it's fantastic. So that's one good thing about Airbnb. It's very good, very well connected.
Yes.
Another kind of murder. Ginger Goodwin. There's like a book here. St. Joe. Alright, so what I can see, this comprises of so many condos. Loads and loads of different condos. So if you want to live close to the downtown, you have got to live in a condo. But there's loads of them, really modern. And well connected to parks and everything, so probably not a bad place to live. So here's another little park here, and we'll walk through that, and it looks like at the end of that you got Stanley Park.
The horses had to be strong enough to carry the knights and still charge into battle. Of course, if the knights were knocked off during battle, they couldn't get back up on the horses. Yeah. So armor was eventually phased out, and the cavalry began to use faster, lighter horses. And these big, heavy horses had to find work elsewhere, and that's when they became more mainstream in farming, mining, carting, forestry, even pulling boats up and down canals. So really multi-talented horses. Draft horses like these boys can actually pull up to 5 times their own body weight. Now one of our boys here weighs about the same as a Honda Civic. That's about 1 ton. So our boys together, in theory, could pull up to 10 tons. But in reality, it's actually a little bit more than that. When they work together, they share the workload, and they can actually pull up to 6 times their own body weight. Which means, together, these boys can pull 12 tons. And our carriage here with 25 adults on board, plus the weight of the carriage itself, is about 3 tons. So to put it into perspective, these boys can pull up to 4 times the amount of weight of a full carriage. And in front of the Chevron station here, might not look like much, but it's actually a very rare sight. This is the last of its kind in British Columbia, and possibly the whole of Canada as well. There used to be about 6 of them across the waterfront, but one by one they started closing down. And unfortunately, the last one before this exploded back in the 70s. Killed 2 people. The reason this one is so unique is because it's self-contained. So typically if you see this type of fuel station, floating fuel station, it'll have a pipeline. This one has one big tank underneath it. So very few of these left across Canada, and it's the last one in British Columbia. On our left-hand side here is our first totem pole. You'll see 2 figures there either side with their hands up in a gesture of welcome. One male, one female. This is People Amongst the People. It was carved by Susan Point, a Musqueam artist. And it's intended to welcome you guys onto the Musqueam traditional territory. And we find a few different types of totem poles here. We have the entrance poles, all designed by Susan Point. We have our memorial poles, a mortuary pole as well. So, yeah, essentially a coffin that would have housed Bill Reed's remains. He was a Haida chief. Step up, boys. Good. And we also have a house pole here too, used as a structural element in the home. And totem kind of loosely translates to mark of my people, and they were used to communicate the story of a person, family, myth, or legend. And that's because First Nations actually had no written language until the settlers arrived. They had no need for it. That's what the totem pole is pretty much for. I'm just going to check, we've got 5 minutes here.
each one is different and each one means something different, and there's explanations there. I thought there'd be more totem poles. So here's the explanation of what each one is. You have to pause it there.
Ship on the seas at the time. She crossed the Pacific in just 7 days, and that was in the late 1800s and early 1900s. So pretty much unheard of for that time period. Very impressive, and she was nicknamed the Queen of the Pacific. This bridge here is the Lionsgate Bridge. Named after the tallest peaks in the region here. They're the lions, you'll see them from downtown. They're like identical triangles. Sometimes you'll hear people call it the first narrowest bridge, so here's the first narrowest bridge, and down the inlet, the second narrowest bridge. And sometimes, the bridge that Beer built. So you're probably familiar with the Irish brewing company Guinness. Yeah, Guinness back in the 1800s bought a large area of land in West Vancouver, so just behind the bridge there, across the mountainside, and they bought it with the intention of turning it into an exclusive housing area. But take note of all those houses there. Back in the late 1800s, there was no bridge, only a little ferry. And it was pretty rubbish, very inconsistent, unreliable, and they wanted to better connect their new houses with downtown. So they asked the city if they could build them a bridge. But the city had only just incorporated, and they were very low on funds, so they said no. But the Guinness family didn't give up. They were very determined, and they went back and forth negotiating with the city for about 40 years. Yeah. Of course, as you can imagine, eventually they got a little bit impatient, and they decided just to pay for the bridge themselves. So with that funding offer, the city finally agreed, and construction began in 1937. There's a great blue heron there, for sure, nice big one. So once the construction began, they actually provided about 2,000 jobs during the Great Depression, and the bridge was built in just 18 months. Towards the tops of the trees and kind of the back there, the leaves are a little brighter. And this isn't just because it's autumn, it's a coping mechanism. So those leaves in general get more sunlight throughout the day, because the sun sets over on that side. And if you get a Japanese red maple that's in sunlight, bright sunlight throughout the entire day, the leaves will be completely green. So in the summer those leaves will be green, and yeah, in the spring they start a really dark, deep burgundy colour. Yeah. Oh. Have my binoculars. That looked like a belated woodpecker right there. Oh, you can see him crawling up the tree there. Yeah, so it's a great place to see the woodpeckers here, and also hummingbirds. We got lots of birds of prey too. Oh, cool. That's the third I've ever seen here, actually. Oh, Bonnie. Good. And here to our right hand side, you'll see this big old stump surrounded by benches. Yeah, so this stump is about 900 years old, and at the top of this old stump is 2 new trees. Those are western red cedars. And most trees do the same thing. They use a nurse stump, so they'll seed the top of an old stump, an old log, send their roots down and absorb all the nutrients from that old stump until eventually it rots away. And then that's something like here on our left-hand side. Spot for hockey fans in Vancouver. See him again on the left-hand side, and the one closest towards us, stern like a man here, is Scottish poet Robert Burns. Yeah, Robert Burns doesn't actually have much to do with the city. He passed away before it even incorporated in 1886. Sorry, in the late 1700s. But we still celebrate his legacy singing Old Lang Syne on New Year's Eve, one of his compositions. And of course, very large Scottish population in British Columbia. I do love Robert Burns. To our right hand side, this beautiful brown and white building here, the Vancouver Rowing Club. One of the oldest clubs in Vancouver, born back in, the same year the city incorporated in 1886. So it is actually the oldest club in Vancouver. And the building is one of the oldest in Stanley Park, dates back to 1911. The club members have been Olympic medalists before. And here on our left-hand side is Vancouver's oldest monument, dedicated to Queen Victoria back in 1905. This used to be a drinking fountain. So at the lion's mouth there was a water spout, and it had 2 cups that were chained to it for public use. Because we're wondering why so many epidemics were breaking out at the time. Mystery.
This is Beaver Lake. It's right in the middle of Stanley Park. Apparently there are beavers around. If we're lucky enough, we'll be able to see them. It is a massive area of ground, this. And according to that lady, the guide on the horse-drawn carriage, we're in Vancouver. One water lily. I'm sure there's loads more. I'm walking, and if there's anything I see, I'll let you know. In the seawall, it's a long walk, but it's really beautiful. The sea is really nice looking. Yeah. Hard to believe this is the same. This is Stanley Park still. So it's a massive area. There's a little island. Heron now. One heron. So it's been raining on, off, but nothing too drastic. Well, apart from the first bit, nothing too drastic. Right, bit of a change to climb up to that tree. So I think we're right at the end now, and we'll head back from this point. See, wash. Indian legend tells us that this 50-foot high pinnacle of rock stands as an imperishable monument to Scourge the unselfish, who was turned into stone by Quas, the transformer, as a reward for his unselfishness. Oh well. So a lot of this was, they used to be called Indians, but now they're called First People. So First People is the proper name to call them, I suppose, because they were the first people to settle here. And this was their lands before this park. And it showed you, there's signs going around here that showed you how they used to live. There's a beach coming up. Right, this is called English Bay. And it is fairly English. I'm not expecting amusement parks, fish and chips and hotel grands everywhere. But this is sort of at the end of that walk. It's about 10 kilometres around the park, the seawall. So if you like a long walk, this is the place to go. This, well, it's 9 kilometres there. I don't know where they started the kilometre mark, but it's been really nice. A few showers here and there. So this is the third beach around. The last one was Second Beach. First beach was before that. And you could feasibly swim here. Oh, he looks like he's. I don't think the seagull did the pink. So we're sort of getting, as you can see, getting back into the city. And I'm going to do a little bit of a walk around the city before I get the bus back. I know exactly what bus to get. it's the number 10. It goes outside the door of where I'll stay, but I'll stay till 4 or 5 o'clock. Right, here's the map. English Bay. And there's a park, so I'll go towards the bridge, which is, oh, you can't see it from here. What's it called? Here it is. The Granville Street Bridge, and I'm actually in Granville Street, but a long way up it. It would be a walk too far, but I'll have a look at the town. I'm not sure what to do tomorrow, but I think as we've done a countryside one or a rural walk today, might be time to do a city walk tomorrow, because it's only today and tomorrow, the only 2 days. But I'll have a look at that zip line thing when I get back as well. Well, I'm not saying this is the last walk I do, and this is the last time I see you today, but let's leave it at au revoir. This could be the very centre of Vancouver. I think it is pretty well the very centre of Vancouver. There's a farmer's market here. Doesn't look too lively, but let's have a little look.
How long have you been here? Okay.
Oh, I love the road. So the Vancouver Art Gallery's here. Don't know much about it. Maybe I'll get a chance to see it tomorrow. And that's an impressive looking building. Well, they're all, look at that one. The architecture here is Dubai-esque, I would say. Everything is different. There's some wacky ones. There's a Microsoft. Well, I love the food from loads of other countries. Very cosmopolitan city this is. Fresh fruit and vegetables.
Oh, wow. Come on, this way, sweetheart.
This is called Robson Square. Robson Square. It's just at the back of the art gallery, and it's another open space. There's so many of them. You know, they managed to squeeze in a city and a load of parks and open spaces. So I get one, but maybe not. Yeah. But it might be worth doing for half hour. Another. Sorry? What was that about?